Nigerian nightmare. Watch me. Yeah, come on, dummy. Show him what you got. But if she climbs before you, you owe $5. Got it? Deal. I got to the top within a minute, but right then, Mom appeared out of nowhere, and she had seen my stunt, and she looked furious. Oh my God, what are you doing, dear? Are you out of your mind? Get down at once. Well, I tried to come down, but got stuck on a branch and ended up falling on Mom. Tito had a good laugh and collected the bet money from the boy. The moment Mom turned to her, she made that innocent face of hers and then winked at me to stay quiet. Oh, I wish you could be like Tito. She was so perfect. Yep, perfect she was. And fooling Mom, Tito was obsessed with making money. She'd make bets, date rich guys, and one time even sold Mom's earrings without telling her just because she needed to buy the latest iPhone. But I never ratted my sister out because we were inseparable. She was my confidant and I was hers. Hi, my name is Dami, and I am from Nigeria. Please like and subscribe. Ever since my sister Tito and I were kids, people always said how different we were from each other. While she looked like a Barbie, I may have looked like G.I. Joe. Her hair was so shiny that people on the streets begged to touch it. Mine looked like a bird's nest, and at times I could barely comb it. However, the most important difference, according to Mom, was that Tito was perfect and I wasn't. My Tito would be the perfect bride. Any man to marry her would be so lucky. A rich one. Mom, I want a rich one, please. Let's see if we can find a rich one for you. But Dami, I don't know how I'll get you out of the house. With all your hobbies like a boy, Dami, no girl climbs trees, fights, and definitely doesn't have short hair. You need to behave like a proper lady so some guy will fall in love with you and marry you. Yuck. Marry boys? Mom would always be talking about these things, but thank God Dad was different. He loved Tito and I equally and gave us the freedom to be ourselves. Don't worry about Dami. No boy will be choosing her. She will be the one to choose a boy for herself. One time when I was 12 and Tito was 15, we were walking home from school together. On our way, a really cute guy bumped into Tito, and the two started talking as if they had known each other forever. It was so boring, standing on the side being Tito's sidekick while the guy asked for her number and complimented on how pretty she was. Just then, I saw a crowd excitedly watching something on a TV at a storefront. When I joined them, I saw they were cheering for two girls in a boxing match. Who knew girls could box? Fascinating. When we reached home, Mom kept asking why we were so late, but all I could think about was the boxing match. That night, I watched tons of videos about women's boxing, and in a few days, I was practicing around the house. And it really drove Mom mad. She hated the idea of women being boxers and forbade me to even think about it. No daughter of mine is going to be a boxer. Got it? Fine. She could stop me from pursuing boxing as a profession, but she couldn't stop me from practicing at home. But one time, when I broke a vase that had my great-grandma's ashes, Mom gave up. Oh my God. Just take her to some boxing academy. Please don't practice at home. Ever again. Yippee! Dad and I were ecstatic. Dad got me into a boxing academy, but since I was the only girl in that place, boys weren't keen on letting me practice in peace. As if it would scare me off. One time as I entered the gym room, I saw some boys practicing boxing on the punching bag. When I asked for a turn, they just laughed at me. Oh, little girl, your fragile fingers will hurt. Leave this to the boys. Why? Are you scared I'm gonna do better than you? I guess if I were you, I'd be scared too, little boy. The boy looked pissed, but moved aside to let me practice on the punching bag. It was my chance to show them what I had. I totally destroyed the punching bag. After that day, no one ever called me little girl. I had been in the academy for just over 6 months when my dad got an amazing job in the city. Now my academy was just a 2-minute walk away from my new home. We were all so happy about living in the big city. We had heard so much about it, and I was excited to live in it. Tito was excited for a different reason. I love the city. Did you notice how rich the guys are here? I am sure I'll find a rich guy, make him fall in love with me, marry him, and live my best life. God, Tito, can you think of anything other than boys and getting married? Why not focus on studies? With the grades you are getting, how will you finish high school? I don't need to finish high school when I have a rich husband. Duh. We had only been in the city for 6 months when I got some surprising news. Tito was getting married. Tito's boyfriend, Econ, was the son of one of the richest men in town. He and Tito looked totally in love. Well, Tito a little more than him. I wasn't a fan of Econ because he was going to take my sister away from me, but seeing Tito over the moon made me happy. Soon my house was swarmed with wedding activities. Just a day before Tito's wedding, I was so fed up and went to a local restaurant to get some air. When I walked in, I saw Tito's boyfriend and I decided to say hello. As I got closer, a girl passed me by and hugged Econ. And then, they both kissed. What the heck? This dude was cheating on my sister. I so wanted to punch him, but the moment he saw me, he smirked. The audacity. Gonna tell your sister I'm cheating on her? Yes, and she is so gonna dump your sorry cheater. Oh, please. Your sister is so in love with me, she won't believe you. Get used to it. We are going to be married. At least temporarily. I just need to marry a girl of my dad's choice to access my trust fund, and then I'll be free. For keeping your mouth shut for a while. I saw red hearing his words. I gave him a much-deserved punch before leaving. At home, I tried to tell Tito the truth, but she didn't believe me and told me to keep my mouth shut. But I swear I'm going to stop you from becoming a stupid boxer. Got it? You know how much she adores me. She'll listen to me. But Tito, zip it, Dami, and let me get my beauty. Ugh! I went to my room and I was so mad Tito was acting like a fool. The next day, Tito was dressed in all white and she started to say her vows. I just couldn't keep my calm and stood up. This marriage is a scam. He has a girlfriend and he is marrying my sister just to access his trust funds. Tito, this worm is cheating on you. Dami, stop it. Shut up. You have no proof. Yeah, I have. That black eye I gave you yesterday, but I think you need an extra too. Before I could get a hold of Econ, he turned and ended up falling into the huge wedding cake. The wedding was a mess. Tito crying, Mom screaming, Dad angry, and all the guests running out of the hall. But at least my sister dodged the bullet that was her cheating on. I knew Tito was upset. I needed to talk to her. Just as I went to her room, she pushed me out. You ruined everything. You ruined our big day. I hate you, Dami. I'll hate she was asleep in my arms. When I went to put her back, I was shocked to see Tito counting money. But the moment she noticed me, she hid her hands behind her back. "What do you think you are doing? How dare you touch my baby?" She was crying. "And that money, where did you get it from?" "Huh? It's mine. I'm married to a super rich guy, remember? Give me my baby and stay away from my child. I don't want her turning into a Hulk like you. Look at yourself. There's nothing girly about you anymore." "Tito, tell me, are you in some kind of trouble? I can help you." "Shut up. I don't need your help. I'll never need your help. Get out of my room now." Something was sure fishy with Tito. I knew my sister too well, even when she was being a jerk to me. So the next day when she left the house with her baby, I followed her. She kept walking and finally stopped near the seaside. What was she up to? As I was lost in my thoughts, I saw her husband. The moment Tito saw him, she threw money in his face. But instead of being angry, the jerk smirked. Here's the money you asked for. I can't believe I had to steal from my mom and dad because of you. Just leave me alone now. Don't ask for my daughter's custody. We are done with you." Just as I thought, that cheat was blackmailing Tito. Wow, that's a lot of money. Now that my trust fund is empty, I'm glad I got you to bring in some cash. That sister of yours is making quite the money. On second thought, I'll hold on to it. Having her with me guarantees my supply of money. All of a sudden, he started to cry, and that's when Tito let out a scream. Instantly, I lunged and grabbed him by the collar, and Tito came in time to take the baby safely away. I always knew you were trapped. This was long overdue. Saying that, I gave the jerk a much-deserved black eye. Once Econ was taken away by the cops for blackmailing Tito for money, my sister came running to me with my beautiful niece in her arms. "Dami, how did you know?" "I followed you. You looked worried. I had to find out." I'm so sorry, Dami. So sorry for being a jerk, for not listening to me, for not admitting that I made the most foolish mistake ever by trusting Econ. Can you forgive me, Dami, please? Tito. The baby is I'll always have your back. Always love your niece. Dami, I promise I will wait for you to completely forgive me. Strong people like you will always find it in their hearts to forgive others. They don't forget. Stay focused.
I woke up in the middle of the night feeling extra thirsty and almost passed out when I saw the time. It was 3 a.m., the devil's hour. I tried to go back to sleep, but I just couldn't. Come on, girl. Ghosts aren't real, but dehydration is. So hold yourself together and get your ice-cold water. I silently prayed as I went down to the kitchen. Suddenly, I caught someone moving in the shadows. Holy Mother of God! Was it the devil? I was about to scream when I realized that it was just my older brother, Kevin. He looked suspicious. I silently followed him as he went down the basement and was surprised when he opened a mysterious door that I had never seen before. But before he could enter, he looked back and saw me. "Don't you ever tell anyone about this, especially Dad, no matter what happens." "Why? What's inside that room?" He just patted my head and smirked. The devil himself. He then disappeared into the room and locked it, leaving me shaking in fear and confusion. Hi, my name is Kendra, and this is my story of how my mysterious brother changed my life forever. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. After what happened last night, the first thing that I did in the morning was to check that door in the basement. But unfortunately, it was padlocked to death. Kevin was definitely hiding something in there, and it was killing my curiosity. I was finally able to corner him during dinner.
Are you sure that you weren't dreaming? Because that totally didn't happen.
That night was really weird, so he could be right. Our conversation was cut off when Dad joined us.
Son, it's time for you to take over the company. We will be holding a gala next weekend to introduce you to everyone. They're all so excited to meet you. But Dad, no buts. You're graduating in a few months, so prepare yourself. I don't want any problems. Understood?
Of course, my brother couldn't say no to him. He was always Dad's favorite, his golden boy, the perfect son. While me, I was just a stranger to him. If Mom was still alive, things would probably be different. Later that night, when I was about to sleep, I almost screamed when I saw Kevin leaning against my door. Can I help you?
What makes you feel alive, Kendra?
Huh? What's with you? Why are you being so weird?
The less you know, the better. Good night, Peanut.
Peanut? Where did that come from? That was the weirdest and longest interaction we've ever had. He was a year older than me, and we had never been close growing up. His time was spent in his room reading, in the piano corner perfecting his sonatas, or with Dad talking about business while playing chess. We also didn't see each other often at school because he was always with his best friend Cedric, or surrounded by their crazy fangirls. The next morning, I woke up to Dad screaming from the library. I dashed to check what it was, and found out that one of our maids found a letter under Kevin's pillow. I read it and froze. Kevin left. He didn't say where he went and when he was coming back. All the note said was, "Do not wait for him."
I would expect something like this from you, but not my son. Kevin is a responsible young man.
Well, the note says otherwise.
The gala is this weekend. I need your brother to be there no matter what it takes.
We tried looking for Kevin everywhere, but no one knew where he was. Even the police couldn't find him, and it was driving Dad crazy. One night, he just walked up to me and started inspecting my face.
You would do. You were going to be him.
Who?
Kevin. In case your brother is still on this stupid little adventure on the night of the gala, you will pretend to be him.
But Dad, I don't think I can...
Kendra, you are a capable young lady. Of course you can. You'll be saving our company from humiliation. I know I have not been very vocal about your accomplishments, but I do notice. Will you do this for me, sweetheart?
I had never heard Dad talk to me that way, and it felt really good. So I found myself giving in. Besides, it would only be for just one night, right? I just needed to hide my hair under a wig and dress up like Kevin and just smile and avoid conversation as much as possible. Simple. When the big day finally came, I was a nervous wreck. There were too many important people, and Dad kept reminding me not to mess up. Luckily, the party was a success, and I thought my little mission was finally over until Dad came up to me.
You did well. Now we just have to make sure that your brother will not fail his classes so he can graduate. You'll need to attend school as him.
But how about me as Kendra and my grades?
I'll call the school and tell them that I sent you out of the country for an emergency. Anything you fail, you can take for a summer class.
But
no buts. This was already decided. Remember, no one should ever know about this.
But Kevin and I were just too different. After carefully thinking about it, I finally decided to do it. It was my chance to impress them. I just needed to do one little thing, which was to learn everything about my brother to make it believable. I checked his room, but I didn't find anything useful. I had to ask for help from the person closest to him, Cedric. But there was one problem. At school or whenever he visited my brother, I would usually lock myself in my room because every time our eyes met, I felt like passing out. The guy looked like a demigod, and I just couldn't handle him. But this time, I had no choice. I knew exactly where to find him at school, the music room. As I peeked into the room, I saw him playing violin, and I was instantly mesmerized. Just then, he stopped playing and smiled at me. Just avoid his eyes, and you'll be fine.
Did it tickle your soul?
Huh?
The rhythm, the passion, the climax.
Sorry, but I'm not into music. I stepped back and he started walking towards me.
How about this? Did it tickle your soul?
I suddenly became mute.
This is the first time you talked to me, and I'm surprised. What brings you here? Cupcake?
Cupcake? I got a grip of myself and slapped his hand away. First of all, I'm not food. And second, I'm not here to talk about souls and music with you. It's about my brother. Suddenly, his face turned serious.
I had already talked to your dad about it. Kevin ran away and he didn't want us to find him, and there's nothing we can do about it.
I know, but I need your help with something. I told him about Dad's demand, and he suddenly laughed.
That's a ridiculous idea. You two look similar, yeah, but you're too cute and girly to be a boy.
Wait, he found me cute? I excused myself to the bathroom, and after calming down, he was nowhere to be found. It took me a whole day to finally find him playing violin in the school garden. So, are you going to help me with this, or are you just going to play your violin all day?
I only help people if you look me in the eye.
Ugh, why was he being like this? I gathered up all my courage before finally meeting his eyes. And thankfully, I was able to control myself until he smiled.
You have the same eyes as your brother. They're very
Now, where do we start?
Your appearance. And I think it needs a lot of work.
For the makeover, he brought me to the mall to cut my hair short, and it took me several hours to finally say goodbye to my precious long hair. After accepting the fate of my hair, we tried on some clothes similar to Kevin's fashion. As I walked out in a leather jacket, he came up to me to zip it up. He was so close, I could hardly breathe.
Looks perfect now.
He then taught me about my brother's stance, walk, and gestures.
I told you to walk faster, not like a gangster. And stick out your chest more. Think of yourself as the hunkiest man alive.
Like this? He held my hips to guide me, and I felt like exploding from the spark. Just then, I noticed some girls around, drooling over us. Both guys are so cute. I'll take either of them.
They look so in love. OMG. Love wins.
Great. And now we were a gay couple. Cedric coached me about Kevin's interests. I was surprised. I didn't know my brother was such a dork.
He loves SpongeBob so much, he even thought of diving into the ocean just to look for its real-life version.
But one revelation made me tear up again.
He adores you so much. He thought you didn't like him, so he always chose to give you space.
What? That's not true.
He's too protective of you. He even told me not to talk to you because he thought I'm trouble.
Oh, yes, you're definitely gonna be trouble. To my heart. That weekend, we continued practicing until I looked convincing enough. And when we finally got to school, I just stayed close to him and smiled at people from time to time. I was doing an excellent job at being my brother until it was lunchtime. We sat at their usual table for lunch when suddenly someone sat on my lap and kissed my cheek. It was Lauren, the prettiest and coolest chick at school. What in the frickin' pregnant duck is happening? What? You hate my kisses now? You look like you've seen a ghost. I turned into the ripest tomato when she giggled into my ear.
I could never hate such a goddess like you.
Wow, since when did you become this cheesy? I gave Cedric a panicked look, but the jerk was trying his best not to burst out laughing. I kicked his leg under the table and his wince was satisfying. I then excused myself in the bathroom and dragged him with me. There, he revealed that Kevin had been dating Lauren for a while now, and I had no idea about it. Lauren had been all over me for the next several days. This was totally normal, of course, except for the little detail that I was not her actual boyfriend. And through all of this, Cedric remained an unhelpful idiot who was clearly enjoying my discomfort. We were walking to our last class when someone suddenly grabbed and pushed me against the wall. You're acting weird lately, and I like it. Before she could kiss me, I acted like there was a bug inside my shirt and ran away. I needed to talk to Cedric. As usual, I found him in the music room. We need to tell Lauren. Suddenly, Lauren appeared from behind me. Tell me what? Wait a minute. Don't tell me that you guys are dating? What? Cedric finally stopped playing the violin and grinned at me.
I'm straight, but I don't know about your boyfriend.
Aw, baby. You know I would accept you however you identify, right?
Well, that's good to hear.
Lauren looked like she bought it. I just found myself exploding. I'm not Kevin. I'm not your boyfriend. I'm his sister Kendra pretending to be him. I then explained everything to her. Oh, okay. Explains why you look and act differently. That's it? No violent reaction whatsoever? I'm used to Kevin's quirks. So, anything I can do to help with this mission? Just don't tell anyone about this. Got it, baby. Despite knowing the truth, she still kissed me on the cheek, and it made Cedric laugh. I started hanging out with both of them since then. They would talk fondly about my brother and share things about him that I didn't know. It made me realize that he wasn't as boring as I thought he was. One day, Cedric dragged me to the music room and asked me to listen to his new composition. It was a wrong move to come with him, because the way his fingers moved and his handsome face played with the painfully sweet tune screamed danger to my heart. I calmed myself down and hyped him up when he was done. You really like playing the violin, don't you?
I like to touch people's hearts with classical music. How about you? What makes you happy, Kendra? I'm curious.
I ended up telling him about my passion, which was fashion designing. I used to draw my designs every day, but when Dad saw it, he burned all of them. He found it lame and useless to his company.
I'm sorry to say this, but your dad is the biggest jerk in the world. He treats you and Kevin as assets to his company, and never as a son and daughter.
You're right, but it just made me crave for his love and approval.
Someday, and I hope you'll be able to find the courage to do what you need to do. You have me now, you know. I'll take care of you.
He leaned in closer, and I I thought he was gonna kiss me, but to my surprise, he pulled away and walked back to the platform to play again. What was that all about? After the incident in the music room, I started thinking that maybe Cedric liked me too, until one day I heard him talking to Lauren in an empty classroom. You like Kendra, don't you?
What are you talking about? She's off limits. And besides, she's just like the little sister I never had.
Those words were enough for me to accept the truth, that Cedric will just be my dream. To distract myself, I invited Lauren for a sleepover, and as she was trying on some of my favorite clothes, I couldn't help but admire how beautiful she was. Just then, I found her smirking at me through the mirror.
Are you falling in love with me now?
What? No, I wish I was as pretty as you.
Oh, honey, you are prettier than me.
And not to mention cute, she ended up knocking on my drawers, spilling some things. There was one thing that suddenly caught my attention. A peanut. What was it doing there? Suddenly, I remembered Kevin calling me a peanut before he ran away. Why don't we crack it open? Maybe he left a secret message or something. And he actually did. I'm finally alive. Wait a minute. That night before he left, he asked me what makes me feel alive. Lauren and I then came up with a mission to find the answer to that question. Your brother is too mysterious sometimes. Maybe Cedric knows something. But unfortunately, he was useless. One day, Dad suddenly called me and started asking about Lauren.
I learned that she's dating your brother. Her parents and I are talking about a very important business deal. We will have dinner with them tomorrow night. Make sure to be extra attentive to her.
I thought it wouldn't be much of a problem until they suddenly decided to marry us off with Dad knowing that I was Kendra. He was crazier than I thought. Do you think Kevin will be home by then? I don't know if he's ever coming back. I can't believe you dated an idiot.
Watch your words, honey. That's my idiot.
Well, we need to find your idiot ASAP. The next day, we met up with Cedric in a cafe to talk about finding my brother.
We don't even know what makes him feel alive. Shouldn't we just wait for him to come back?
Our parents are talking about marriage, for Pete's sake. We're running out of time. Do you know what my parents would do if they found out they were being played? Out of panic, I remembered something again. The mysterious door in the basement. I told them about it, and we waited for Dad to be out before destroying the padlocked door, only to find out that it was actually a dark room where Kevin developed all his photographs, and it was connected to his room. And all those pictures were related to an island that only meant one thing. Kevin was staying on one of them. It makes sense now that he always disappears on weekends.
I also found a camera in his bag one time, but I never saw it again.
And why didn't you both tell me about this earlier? You're both idiots. And with that, the three of us were off to an adventure to get my brother back. As we traveled, I kept on flirting with Lauren to avoid Cedric. And for a moment, I thought I saw his deadly glare through the rearview mirror. Was he jealous? I wished. In a span of 2 days, we had already visited 7 islands, but there was no luck. Just when we were about to give up, we suddenly spotted someone resting on a hammock. It was Kevin. He looked shocked to see us. Suddenly, he glared at Cedric.
Dude, you told them?
Wait, you knew?
Let me explain.
No, you knew. And you kept silent while I was going crazy trying to find a way to bring back my brother so I could get me back. Kendra was equally furious.
Babe, I can explain.
Shut it, Kevin. You're not my favorite person right now.
Kendra.
Later, I need to speak to my brother. I walked away and Kevin followed me. Now start explaining the reason I'm sacrificing my identity.
I'm sorry, Peanut. I didn't mean for you to be tangled up in my mess. I felt stuck and suffocated because of Dad's expectations. I always knew I would have to take over the company someday. I didn't know it would be this soon. I thought I would have enough time to still do what I love, to enjoy every island with Lizzie's beautiful friends. But suddenly, I didn't even have a year. So I panicked and I ran away. I'm such a coward.
It didn't take a second for me to help. No, that's the bravest thing I've seen you do. All our lives, I've only ever seen you nod to Dad's every demand. I'm proud of this version of you. I convinced him to come back, but he ended up convincing me to ditch Dad and come with him. After everything that happened, I just realized one thing. Dad wasn't worth it. So I agreed. Lauren was amazing, you know. She didn't deserve to be left without a word.
I know. I guess I have a lot of making up to do.
Good luck, Walnut. Later that day, he spent his time making it up to Lauren and talking to Cedric, while I was left alone doodling some cute dresses on the sand. My brother then came up to me and asked me something.
Are you mad at Cedric? I asked him not to tell anyone. Keeping this from you must have been very hard for him. I understand, but you like him, don't you?
What? No, I mean,
Don't worry. I finally gave him the go signal. You two can kiss or whatever.
as soon as he left, Cedric walked up to me with an earth-shattering smile.
Can we talk?
I couldn't look at him in the eye again. About?
About us. I've always fancied you, you know, more than violins.
I felt like melting at his confession. I told him about the reason why I'd been avoiding him all these years, and he responded to it by finally kissing me on the lips. Thank God I didn't pass out.
So, did it tickle your soul this time?
Yes?
Finally.
I couldn't stop yawning. We were having an orientation program at our school auditorium, but everything was so boring. I put on my earphones and listened to an upbeat song to wake myself up. Soon I just found myself singing along with it. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours. Yeah, right, it's better than yours. Suddenly I stopped when I realized that everyone was looking at me like I mercilessly kicked a puppy. Whoa, what did I do now? Just then, my sister Nova pointed to my earphones. And that's when I realized that my voice was louder than intended, and unfortunately, it was the prayer time. Oopsie. Hi, my name is Heather, and I'm your awkward main character who always ends up doing the most embarrassing things ever. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I was walking down the hallway when I noticed a guy smiling at me. He was holding a banner which said that he was asking me to the prom. Holy crispy biscuits! Someone actually liked me? I dramatically ran towards him and said, "Oh, my Romeo! Yes, yes, yes! I'm going to the prom with you!" To my surprise, he pushed me away.
Ew, not you, weirdo.
He was actually asking the girl behind me. Well, that was a little awkward. The girl was Shannon, the principal's daughter who acted like she was the queen of the world. She snatched the banner away from him and tore it in half. "How dare you ask me out with that ugly face of yours?" The poor guy dashed away with tears. Shannon had been plastering her stupid face all over the school the whole day, trying to get everyone's votes for the prom queen. I even heard her bad-mouthing my sister Nova, her ultimate rival. They had been competing in terms of fame and beauty, while here I was, just trying my best to act as normal as I could. Nova was a year younger than me, but we were in the same grade because, aside from being a goddess, she was also a genius, and everyone was just obsessed with her. When I went to the school gym to see her, I was surprised to see all the boys lining up in front of her.
Please, Nova, I will do anything. Just go to the prom with me, and I'll kiss the ground you walk on. I'll pay you $1 million and give you my private island.
But Nova was too busy to care. On the other hand, no one had asked me out yet. Maybe I needed to step up my game this time. Later that night, I decided to practice my social interactions. So I chose my bookshelf to pretend as my boyfriend. While I was kissing it, I caught someone watching me through the bedroom window across mine. Wait a minute, was that Enzo? He used to be my grumpy neighbor when we were kids, but they moved out 10 years ago, and no one had lived in their house since then. I was about to say hi to him, but he raised a banner to give me a message before closing off his window. Rude? During dinner, Mom told us that Enzo's dad decided to continue their business here, so they were staying here permanently. She also added that Enzo was joining the school too, and it made me excited for some reason. Later that night, while I was putting out the garbage bag outside, I saw him doing the same. I almost passed out when he turned to face me. He looked more handsome up close. Wow, look at you. Growing up so fine. Miracles do happen indeed.
You're still a waste of oxygen.
Look, I'm sorry for pushing you on an anthill and stepping on your flowers in your yard. I was just a kid back then. Can we forget the beef and start all over again? As friends, you know, and nothing else. I mean, you're cute, but sorry, you're not my type. But he just gave me a look like I was a lost turd in the street and walked back inside. What a jerk! I just focused on my current goal, getting myself a prom date. But first, I had to get a boy's attention. Most boys love soccer, so I studied about it all night. And the next day, I walked up to the field where the hottest jocks were practicing and tried to join them. Soccer is the best. I love to kick balls real hard. Nice kick, homie! Everyone was acting like I was invisible. Maybe I should try harder. I grabbed a megaphone and walked up to the middle of the field. Did you know that soccer's modern origins began in England in 1863, but not sure about the exact month and day though. I'll dig into that later. And oh, my favorite player is Lionel Messiah. Finally, someone turned to me, and it was Jacob, of all people, the most popular guy in school. Jackpot. As he walked up to me, I gave him my sweetest smile.
Excuse me, but can you move? We're practicing.
Oh, let me join you then. I snatched the ball from him and kicked it, but I ended up kicking him instead. Uh-oh. I dashed away from the field before he could kill me. Just then, I tripped and fell face first into some dog poop. When I looked up, I saw a familiar face walking up to me. It was Enzo. I thought he was going to help me, but to my surprise, he skipped over me and went to pick up a random sunflower on the grass. What a terrible human being. I went to the toilet to clean up and hyped myself up in the mirror to calm down. You're not a potato, you're the ripest strawberry, a queen, a rock star. You don't need to change yourself for someone's validation. Don't chase them. They should be the ones chasing you. But then, you're not running. You're literally standing right now, so how could they chase you? Maybe you should start running. You're so smart, you little strawberry. As I was blowing myself a kiss and posing like a constipated duck, I noticed someone's reflection behind me. It was Jacob. How long have you been standing there?
Long enough to fall in love with you?
Wow, did someone blackmail you or something? What are you doing here?
I'm here to punish you for kicking me.
But it was a harmless little kick, or was it an assault? Oh no, I'm going to jail. Do you think they have Wi-Fi there?
Your music. Want to be my girlfriend?
Punch me, shake me, throw me away to Mars. I might be dreaming. But no, Jacob, the cutest guy in school, just asked me out, so of course, I said yes. We finally started dating, and everyone couldn't believe it, especially Shannon. I'm sure Jacob's just using you for some little entertainment because you're literally a joke and an embarrassment. Remember, he's mine. He's yours, but he's dating me. Go with some soap, please. How dare you talk to me like that? Don't you know who I am? You're Shannon, right? Before she could eat me alive, Nova suddenly came and snatched me away from her. What are you doing? What? I didn't do anything. Just told her to go lick some soap. Please, Heather, just stay out of trouble. We'll never win against her. She's the principal's daughter. If we continue to piss her off, we'll be doomed. I still need to be the prom queen and graduate as the top student. Just relax, okay? I got you. I knew Nova wasn't convinced, so I promised myself to behave. I ignored Shannon's death glares at school and focused on the perks of dating Jacob. But for some reason, I wasn't feeling the sparks. One night, he insisted on having dinner with us at home, and Mom couldn't believe it when I introduced him as my boyfriend. Are you sure you're not blind or something? Mom! Jacob just laughed while Nova went ahead to her room. As soon as Jacob left, she suddenly barged into mine. Of all the boys, why him? Don't you find it suspicious that he noticed you all of a sudden after all of these years? Why? You find it impossible for a guy like him to actually like a nutcase like me? It's not like that. I just don't really trust that job. I started to realize Nova's warning over the next few days. Whenever Jacob and I were together, he would always ask me to do some weird things like talking to a dog and eating without using my hands. He and his friends would then laugh at me like crazy, and it was very insulting. One time after lunch, I had a little food crumb in my nose, and he didn't tell me about it. Everyone thought it was a booger, and he'd been laughing with them all day. I finally had enough. He needed to break up with him, so I followed him to an empty classroom, only to witness something that shook my world. He was trying to kiss a girl, and it wasn't just any other girl. It was my sister. I hid behind a wall to listen to their conversation. Get off me, you jerk.
Come on, Nova. Don't you get it? I only dated your sister just to get close to you.
I don't care. Just leave me and my sister alone. She slapped him before storming off, leaving me totally stunned. This revelation didn't break my heart, but what he did to us was so low of him. I had to teach him a lesson. That weekend after their successful soccer game, I snatched the announcer's mic and dropped a bomb on them. Hi, hello, excuse me. Jacob, first of all, congratulations on the win. Yay! And second, we're done. Okay, this is a breakup, and it's not you, it's me. Just kidding, it really is you because you're boring, your breath is stinkier than poop, and your abs are not hard enough for me.
embarrassing things that you did, that was my favorite. We then decided to go to prom together, and to be honest, that sounded better. As Nova left, I caught myself glancing at my window, straight to Enzo's. He was walking back and forth in front of his window while reading a book. It was making me dizzy. Well, if he wasn't so grumpy and arrogant, that would have been attractive. It had only been a few weeks since he joined our school, but he had already formed his own fan club, and I wasn't surprised. Suddenly, he stopped and looked straight at me. I slowly and pointedly pulled out my chair, sat, leaned on my study table, and opened the book in front of me while making eye contact. Then I wrote something on a piece of paper and showed it to him. He looked amused for a second, but then he rolled his eyes at me before pulling his blinds closed. Wait a minute, why was I smiling? The next day at school, I found out that Shannon got mad because Nova accidentally ruined one of her posters. And now they were having the cat fight of the century. I threw myself between them and pushed Shannon away. Oh, please, Shannon. No matter how hard you try, my sister's gonna win that crown. You're just a plain pancake with 1,000 layers of makeup. My sister is way prettier than you. She's a natural. Natural? Let's make it artificial then. She grabbed a bucket of dirty water from the janitor's cart and splashed it on Nova's face. To get back at her, I grabbed the dirty mop and slapped it on her stupid face, taking everyone by surprise. Hurt my sister again, and I'll slap you with a cactus next time, you filthy creature. You're gonna pay for this. You'll see. That's right. Run home to mommy, because that's all you can do. As expected, the principal suspended both Nova and me for 2 weeks, and that also meant that we couldn't attend prom. Nova tried to negotiate with the principal, but of course, she'd side with her awful daughter. If my sister couldn't be the prom queen, then Shannon shouldn't be either, and I had to do something about it. After carefully planning my revenge, I put on a mask, gloves, and a hoodie, and some props before heading to Shannon's mansion at midnight. I hid behind some bushes as I waited for their front porch light to be turned off. Suddenly, someone popped in beside me.
Fancy seeing you here.
Holy puppies, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Judging by your outfit, I knew you were about to do something stupid again. So I just came to warn you that trespassing is illegal, and we should just go home.
Why do you care anyway? You're just my grumpy neighbor. Just then, 2 scary black dogs started barking behind us. Oh no, I know I'm not exactly pageant material, but do I look like a bone? Don't answer that. Just then, the dogs started chasing us. Enzo grabbed my hand and led me to the back of the house. We then entered an open window and ended up in the kitchen.
We can't stay here. We're going to get caught.
Don't you think I know that? Remove your shoes. We can't leave marks. They can trace us through shoe marks. I watched that one episode of CSI where the serial killer was caught because of his Adidas. Can you believe it? Suddenly, someone walked in. Enzo was quick to cover my mouth and pushed me against the wall to hide. As he was on high alert, I couldn't help but think how close we were right now. I could even feel his heartbeat racing. Or was it mine?
Now tell me, what exactly do you plan to do for revenge?
Watch me. As we finally reached Shannon's bedroom, I took out my fake crocodile balloon. And while I was blowing it up, I noticed Enzo staring at me. What?
Nothing. You're cute.
Wow, I didn't expect that from you.
Sorry about being grumpy. Those were just the times that I had my period.
I continued blowing up the balloon to hide my blush, and when it was huge enough, I threw it beside the sleeping Shannon, waking her up. I started taking Polaroid pictures of her as she screamed her heart out, making sure I got her worst angles. Enzo and I were chuckling as we fled the scene. We then headed to the school to put up all Shannon's ugly, no makeup pictures all over the school. I got home still on a high about what we just did. Enzo was an amazing accomplice. Speaking of him, I turned to look at his window and my jaw dropped. It looked like he had just had a bath, and then I realized he was shirtless, and I could see his abs. His very defined abs. Holy yummy macaroni! Just then he turned to me and caught me drooling all over him. I immediately pretended to be doing exercise by the window. Exercise is important, you know, especially at midnight. Not that you need that information. Like, look at your body. You obviously work out. You look healthy.
You look healthy too.
He then gave me a smile and shut his window. Ugh, that was awkward. The next day at school, the whole building was filled with Shannon's screams. So when I couldn't help but laugh as we watched her tear off her pictures like an idiot. We became closer since then, and soon I just found myself falling for him. One day when I came down, I saw him in the living room. What was he doing here?
Hey, Heather, I want to ask you something.
Oh my gosh, return her notes.
Oh, so they were close too. Nova?
Yeah, she's here, definitely. This is her house too. Let me get her.
I went upstairs and told Nova that Enzo was waiting for her. She went down and they kept talking. I even heard them laughing, and for some reason, it sounded annoying. Enzo and Nova continued hanging out with each other. Of course, if he liked someone, that would be her. I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I decided to distance myself from him. He'd act busy whenever he approached me at school. I didn't want another Jacob situation. I had to get over my crush before it was too late. It wasn't easy, especially since every time I spoke to Nova the past week, she would be like, Enzo this and Enzo that. Did you know that Enzo is excellent at that? Oh, Enzo prefers salty food too. So that weekend, when Nova asked me to hang out with her and Enzo as a favor, I told her I was busy planning on stalking them. They went to the park to feed some ducks, and I was extremely jealous. Suddenly, it looked like he was about to kiss Nova. I jumped out of the bushes and screamed, "Stop! Don't kiss!"
What?
There's an insect. There, it's gone now.
Well, hey, you two. Such a coincidence to see you both here.
Are you spying on us?
I'm no spy, you dork.
I thought you were busy.
I was. Anyway, I just realized that I need to go home. I left something in the kitchen when we went out, and I needed to make sure it didn't burn or something. That's why I've been acting anxious. That's right, I need to go home. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Bye! Ugh, that was a disaster. But when Nova got home, she kept insisting that I was jealous. Fine, I was jealous, okay? But it was just a crush. Don't have to worry about it. I'll get over it soon enough. Just, can you please try to not bring him up every time?
Heather, there's nothing going on between us. Every time we hang out, we talk about you.
I asked you to come with us today because he said that you've been avoiding him. What? The guy is in love with you, you fool. The revelation almost made me pee my pants. Thank God I was able to reach the bathroom just in time. I was expecting Enzo to talk to me about it, but to my disappointment, all he did was shut his window and avoid me at school. Weird. The day of the prom finally came, and Nova and I decided to crash the event, and everyone was so hyped up when we came with our iconic outfits. Shannon was about to throw some fit, but then the announcer came up on stage to finally announce the winners. As expected, Jacob won the prom king, and Nova as the queen. Deserved. This is unacceptable. She was disqualified because of her suspension. Shannon tried to snatch the crown from Nova, but some people picked her up and threw her out. Serves her right. I was about to look for Enzo among the crowd when I suddenly crashed into the table of drinks. Everyone turned to me as I bathed in orange juice. Just then, someone approached me and started wiping the juice off my face. Enzo!
You silly girl.
What are you doing?
Taking care of you?
Why?
Because I like you. I like how weird and awkward you are, and how loud your personality can be. I'm drawn to how real you are. I'm in love with you. Everything about you.
Well, I guess I like your abs. He chuckled and finally asked me the ultimate question.
Will you be my prom queen?
I thought you'd never ask. Everyone then cheered for us as we finally kissed.
When you run a small business, firsts never stop coming. Your first online sale, your first race against the clock, and the first time you realize, you've got this. And with domains, websites, and payments, GoDaddy is a partner that puts you first. GoDaddy, tools and support for every small business first.
Hi, I'm Rose from upstate New York. Please like and subscribe. I grew up with my grandfather, who was the coolest person ever. He worked at a planetarium nearby, and often after school, I'd help him there.
You see that star? You know, it isn't a star, but a planet.
Planet? It's so shiny. Wow. Growing up, I loved everything about the stars, planets, and space. Pops and I would look at the stars from the big telescope. It was so fun. By the time I was 17, I was the brightest in my class and ready to graduate a year early. One time when I returned from school, I saw Pops talking to some construction workers, and he looked mad. What's happening?
These people are trying to tear down the planetarium to build a mall here.
No way! Not on my watch. This place was too close to my heart. My best childhood memories were about this place. Just then, I noticed a bulldozer driving toward the building, so I climbed up this huge oak tree in between, and people frantically yelled for the machines to stop.
Yo, stop! There's a crazy girl up there. Rose, what are you doing? Get down from there.
Nope. If they want to take this tree down, they'll have to do it with me on it. One of the workers called the boss, and exactly 30 minutes later, I saw a helicopter land. Several men in black suits jumped out, surrounding a handsome guy who didn't look much older than me.
You, girl, what's the problem?
Call me Rose, and the problem is that you need to ask your men to back off. This is our property.
I bought this dump, so it's my property.
So, you'll just destroy it because you own it? Over my cute body?
Do you have any idea who I am?
Does it look like I care? The guy stared at me, then smirked.
You won't give up, will you?
Nope.
Fine. Come to the office tomorrow and we'll have a little chat.
I'll think about it. Saying that, he left, and so did the workers. That was fast. Later that night, cops told me the guy's name was Henry Hampton, and his parents owned half the city. I wasn't scared of him, even if he was the President of the United States. And the next morning when I reached his office, I was more than ready to let him know that. The place was so big, I couldn't figure out which door to open. I accidentally entered the wrong room and found a boy my age playing the piano, but he sounded a bit off. Try working with an F minor. It's much smoother.
Excuse me?
I wanted to apologize for butting in, but before I could, a security guard came and escorted me to another office where Henry was waiting for me. And he looked so intimidating.
Our meeting yesterday had me rethink the mall project, but on one condition. I want you to work as my assistant.
What? Why?
I've had many pretty assistants over the years. Now,
I want a smart one. Did you just call me ugly? But I'm a space nerd. There really isn't much I can do here.
why don't we start you off at $4,000 a day and leave the rest to me?
Okay, that was a lot. Henry stared at me, waiting for an answer. My gut screamed no. But what choice did I have? It was either this or lose the planetarium. There's no way I was gonna let that happen. Ugh, fine. The entire next week, I regretted my decision every second. Henry was mean, rude, and a total brat. He made me skip classes and called me at the oddest hours for work. If I refused, he made me number all the empty white sheets in the printer. What a nightmare. To top it all off, I was asked to help with all the new transfer students at school. And one of them caught my attention instantly. The piano guy. When he entered the class that day, girls couldn't stop staring at how handsome he was. I know.
Noah, you work for my brother, right?
You're Junior Hampton?
Ding ding. And you're the brave girl I've heard so much about. Pleased to meet you.
Noah was the complete opposite of Henry. He was kind and friendly, and we started hanging out every day. I complained to him about Henry all day long. He didn't seem to disagree. He told me they were half-brothers and never got along.
He's just jealous I'm the better-looking brother.
One night, as Noah was playing his early tune for me, Henry barged in and became mad.
I lost an important deal because you mixed up the papers. I thought I was hiring a genius, but I was so wrong.
I looked at him in shock, and he went ballistic on me. Hold up, I didn't ask you for this job. I'm tired, exhausted, and you're just so ungrateful. If you want me out, I'll leave, but I won't take your sour attitude. Henry looked crazy with rage, and before he could react, Noah jumped in.
Easy, Panda. I'm sure we can work something out. Stay out of my business. Understood?
Saying that, he stormed out of the room, and Noah turned to me. Thanks for standing up for me.
I won't let him bully you, as he bullies me.
Such a bozo. Just then, Noah came a bit closer, and my tummy did a wild spin.
Do you want to maybe get dinner sometime?
Like a date?
Yeah. How does 8 p.m. tomorrow sound?
Sounds perfect. I wanted my first date ever to be amazing. I bought a cute dress and did a little makeup too. But just an hour before I had to leave, Henry texted me to get his dry cleaning. Can it wait?
Unless you want to fly to Korea to deliver it, I suggest you get going.
Do you have a tracker on me that rang every time I was unhappy? I texted Noah that I'd be late and hurried to the shop. But on my way back, it started raining heavily and I got completely soaked. I slid my way into the house and saw Henry glaring at me.
I missed my meeting thanks to you.
I missed a date thanks to you. He wrapped his jacket around me as I
yourself about this boyfriend. Who is he?
I don't have a boyfriend. And why do you want to know?
Just wondering.
Well, don't, because you're killing my chances of ever finding someone. Henry laughed, and he almost looked human. One heck of a good-looking human.
What made you say that?
I was all set to meet God, Noah. I totally forgot to tell him that I won't be able to make it. I reached for my phone, but it wasn't working. So I pulled one out of Henry's pocket and frantically dialed Noah. He was already standing behind, looking like a raging bull.
Well, well. Look at that.
Noah, I'm so sorry. I totally
Save it, Rose. It's not the first time Henry's had eyes on my girl.
Henry looked at me in surprise.
He was your date? Well, that's disappointing.
Before I could say anything, Noah took the vase lying on the table next to him and flung it at Henry, who missed it by inches. That was totally uncalled for.
Work on your aim, little guy.
But Noah left without saying a word. When I turned to Henry, he was smiling. You're such a jerk. I stomped out of the house furious at Henry. For days after that, I tried to talk to Noah, but he continued to ignore me. One day, the teacher announced that I was chosen to represent my school at the annual quiz competition, and I got busy with my books. I was studying in Henry's office one night after finishing work when I completely lost track of time and snapped back to over 30 missed calls from cops. As I rushed down the hall blindly, I missed a turn and bumped right into Henry.
You're still here?
I was just leaving.
Now? It's late. Let me drop you back.
Don't you want to change?
Should I?
I blushed and we walked to his car. We sat in the back seat, and minutes into the ride, I dozed off. I woke up to Henry brushing his hands over my cheeks, pushing a strand of hair away. His eyes were the most perfect combination of blue and green. Sorry.
Don't be. I enjoyed your snoring.
I don't snore. I must be really tired, I guess.
You work too hard. Take the day off tomorrow.
Why do you do this? What? Be nice one second and an absolute moron the next. Henry looked straight into the mirror before turning toward me with a stern look.
Maybe that's just who I am. A boring moron. But you're nothing like I imagined.
He leaned forward, and I thought he was about to kiss me. He literally stopped breathing when he took a bottle lying next to me. He totally did that on purpose. When I got back home, I felt my heart beating hard. This was wrong, but why did it feel so right? A week later in school, I was doing some last-minute preparations in the library, and I got stuck on an annoying question. My concentration was all over the place.
I could solve that in under 15 seconds.
I almost screamed when I felt Noah's hand on my shoulder, and I was annoyed to see him. Now you want to talk to me?
Give me that.
He took the notebook out of my hand and started scribbling something, and got the answers right. How?
I'm the lesser-known genius in the family.
I'm so sorry about the other day, Noah.
Don't worry about it. Let's hang out for ice cream after school, and we can talk.
Sure, I'd love that. Noah volunteered to help me with the quiz, and I agreed. We would study till late at night, and I would often catch him stealing glances at me. When the final day of the quiz arrived, I was more than prepared to get that trophy home. And I did, along with a massive cash prize, which was enough to put me through college. Thank you for helping me. I couldn't have done this without you.
I would do anything for you, Rose. I like you, and I think we should give us another shot.
He looked at me with so much hope, but I couldn't do it. I like you too, Noah, but not in the way that you want me to. It's never gonna work out between us.
Because of Henry? What do you even see in him?
Noah's words made me realize what I'd been hiding from all this while, but I was too stubborn to accept it. No, it's not him. I have to work hard for my future, and I can't afford distractions. Noah looked at me heartbreakingly and left. After that day, I realized the whole thing was getting messier by the day. I decided on talking to Henry about it, but when I met him a few days later, he had something waiting for me.
I'm leaving for Korea. You are coming.
What? No. Listen, Henry, I have to talk to you.
Just think of it as this one last thing before you leave. I'll let you go as soon as we're back.
He was nothing but a pain in my butt, and I should be happy this was finally getting over with. Only I wasn't. If anything, it broke my heart. We flew the next day early in the morning in Henry's private jet, and he took me to a house in the city. I entered to see an old lady lying on the bed, and she lit up when she saw him. Henry sat next to her holding her hand while I watched him from a distance. He looked so tender, and it made me fall for him even more. When I found the she was.
My grandmother. I lost my dad when I was a kid, and she's all I have.
What about your stepdad and Noah?
They're my mom's family, not mine.
He looked so vulnerable, and I don't know why, but I felt like hugging him. I know how you feel. My granddad is my only family too.
Looks like we have more in common than we thought.
He placed his hands on mine, and I suddenly felt so close to him. I was in love. I knew it. When we flew back that night, I wanted to confess my feelings for Henry, but just as we got there, we were welcomed by Noah, Mr. Hampton, and a house full of guests.
Everyone, meet Rose, the reason why we're celebrating tonight.
What do you mean?
While you were busy falling in love, I got the deal signed, and we are gonna demolish that precious planetarium of yours.
But that's not fair.
Too bad. Life's not fair. Like it wasn't fair to me when he came over and took everything that was mine. Just when I thought you couldn't stoop any lower.
My mind went spinning in 1,000 directions, and suddenly I slapped Noah hard on his face. You are a horrible person, and I'm ashamed I ever called you my friend. I ran out of that place feeling crushed, but I had no time to sulk. Pops, I, and a few other people collected as much money as possible to hire a lawyer to file a motion. A few weeks later, Pops came to me with shocking news.
I just got a call that the Hamptons are ready to give the planetarium back, along with $1 million.
What? That's amazing! But how? He handed me an anonymous letter that had all the details about exactly what had happened and how Noah had manipulated the situation. It was easy to guess who it was when I saw the handwriting. Henry. I called his office and his assistant told me that he'd left for Korea a week back. I'd lost him, and Pop saw me sulking later that night. He walked over, and I told him everything.
Go. Tell him how you feel.
I hugged him and left for the airport. I reached Henry's grandmother's house and found him sitting on a bench in the grass. This view is so much better than your fancy office.
Rose, what are you doing here?
I got your letter. I just wanted to say thank you.
You came all this way to say thank you? That's not wise.
Wait, you're weird, stubborn, and a complete jerk.
Are you trying to insult me?
No, idiot. I'm trying to say I love you.
I love you too.
Serving customers in the restaurant when the most handsome guy I'd ever seen came in. I swore he looked like a prince. Calm down, Sam. May I take your order, sir?
I wanted to try your... Wow, you look so beautiful.
Eh? He suddenly took my hand and placed it on his chest.
Can you feel how fast it beats right now?
Yeah?
This must be love at first sight.
What? Are you bored, or do you have a bet with your friends or something?
No, I don't. Jokes aside, I'm actually looking for my girlfriend. I saw her coming into this restaurant a while ago.
Oh, what does she look like? Suddenly, he took out his phone and showed me a picture of her. It was actually the front of his camera.
False alarm. I think I found her.
Wait, me? It caught me so off guard that I tripped backwards. Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm a part-time waitress and a full-time weirdo. Please like and subscribe. I couldn't work properly because Austin just stayed for my entire shift and kept staring at me. And before he left, he gave me a huge tip. I ran after him. Is this a joke? Are you trying to win me over with money? Because it's not gonna work.
No, I was just trying to get you to come after me and talk.
He looked so shy all of a sudden, and it was kind of cute.
I'll be dreaming of you tonight.
He then winked at me before finally getting into his limo. I spent the whole night thinking that it actually happened. The next day at school, my best friend Garrett suddenly ran up to me with an ear-piercing squeal.
Girl, you will not believe who just joined our class. He was the most handsome guy that I have ever seen in my life. He 100%.
Garrett was a year older than me, but since we worked together in the restaurant, we became besties for life. Oh yeah? Cool. I didn't think that someone would be more attractive than that rich guy last night, though.
Oh my God, he's coming this way. Okay, I need to calm down.
My jaw dropped when I turned. No frickin' way! It was him, the guy from the cafe. What are you doing here?
I just got transferred here as a senior. This must be safe, don't you think?
Or stalking? He just smiled at me, reached for my hand, and kissed it.
See you around, beautiful.
When he finally left, Garrett turned to me like he'd seen a ghost.
You have some explaining to do, girlie.
I told him everything that happened last night, and he went bonkers.
Ugh, you're lucky that you're prettier than me.
So, what's your plan? What do you mean, plan?
Duh, he obviously likes you. If I were you, I'd marry him right away.
There's no plan, and he's probably messing around, so get over it.
I don't think so, honey.
Apparently, Garrett was right. The guy's name is Austin, and he'd come to the restaurant daily to see me and was showering me with attention in school too. Garrett would turn into a happy worm every time, but the girls weren't digging it. One day, he invited me out for dinner, and when I finally agreed, he took me to a landing pad. Is that your private jet?
I heard there's a really good restaurant in Korea, and I wanted to try it with you.
Korea? We're gonna have dinner in another country?
Only the best for someone as lovely as you, Sam.
I was still speechless when we finally arrived. Austin, you can have any girl you want. Someone prettier and richer, so why me? You don't even know anything about me.
I told you, it was love at first sight. I don't care whether you're rich or poor. I just want to take care of you.
He leaned in and tucked a strand of my hair behind my ear. Why was I resisting this? He was lovely, and he liked me. It was worth a shot dating him. Soon enough, Austin and I were an item, and he was just too good to be true. He'd take me out to yacht parties, concerts, and dinners with his friends, and all these people were so fancy. I just felt this pressure to look good and wear makeup all the time and act a certain way. I liked Austin a lot, but I felt like I was a different person in his world, and something between us was just missing. One night, I told Mom about it, and she shared something with me. When I first met your dad, I felt this heart-pounding rush in my chest. At that moment, I just knew that he was the one. That heart-pounding rush. That's what was missing with Austin. At school the next day, I was looking for Austin and found him in the locker room. Only, he looked really different. His hair was dyed black, and there was a cool tattoo on the side of his neck. He looked breathtaking. Was this the rush Mom was talking about? Just then, I tiptoed and gave him a kiss on the cheek.
Whoa, what was that for?
You look irresistible today. Your new look suits you better. He just gave me a confused look and walked away. What was wrong with him? I followed him, and he looked annoyed.
Why are you following me?
Are you okay? Did I do something wrong?
You kissed me without my permission.
It was just a kiss on the cheek, and you're my boyfriend.
In your dreams, sister.
Wow, I didn't know that you're actually a huge jerk.
Yes, I am. Now leave me alone.
I went to the bleachers to compose myself, and there he was again, holding a bouquet of flowers.
Flowers for the lovely lady.
I almost choked when I saw him with his blonde hair again. You're Austin, my boyfriend, right?
Why wouldn't I be?
I felt so confused. I grabbed his hand and dragged him inside the building. Just then, I bumped straight into someone. It was the hotter Austin.
First, you want to kiss me, and now you want to feel my chest? Control yourself, please.
I looked at the two back and forth. You have a twin brother?
Ding, ding, ding.
Austin apologized for not telling me that minor detail earlier. He told me that Apollo got kicked out of his school abroad and just got here today. He then turned to his twin.
Don't mess with my girl again, or else. Maybe you should tell her that. She kissed me and told me that I looked more handsome with darker hair.
Hey, I didn't know that my boyfriend has a twin. Austin pulled me aside to a corner.
So, you find him more attractive?
You both literally look the same. It's not a big deal.
Fine, but I need you to stay away from him. He's just trouble.
Why would I want to stick with him anyway? But the universe wanted to make my life complicated. Apollo failed a grade in his previous school, so he was put in the same class as mine. And worse, he drove my seatmate away and sat beside me. Excuse me, but
Why here? There's a lot of vacant seats at the back. Just doing you a favor, in case you missed my brother.
Unbelievable! I told Garrett about the mess, and he just laughed at me.
Oh, girl, I think you're in deep trouble.
Was I? One time I was reading in the library when Austin came and sat next to me.
Hey, I've been looking for you. What you doing?
Just checking on some disappearing cases in the Bermuda Triangle. Do you really think there are sea monsters down there?
Why are you reading such nonsense? Are you a child?
Suddenly, he snatched the book away from me and tossed it aside. I was furious.
You didn't have to throw the book away. You should focus on more fun things. Like me. Books are lame. That explains why you're stupid.
He turned to see Apollo reading a book behind us.
What did you say? Oh, I'm not talking to you, bro. I'm reading something out loud.
Before Austin could throw a fit, Apollo got up and left. Austin was mumbling something about how awful his twin was. And here I was, thinking about how attractive he looked as he held that book. The next few days were confusing for me. The more I hung out with Austin, the more I realized that we had nothing in common. One time, he forced me to play tennis with him, and just a few seconds later, I was already a rotten vegetable. He was into active sports, while I just wanted to sleep. He took me to a party one night, and while he was dancing away with his friends, I sat in the corner feeling totally out of place. Why did the music have to be so loud? I opened my phone just then and was surprised to see the news. There was a meteorite captured on camera, and the place where it landed seemed to be near here. I escaped the club and went straight to the location. As I walked toward the clearing, I spotted a guy studying some marks on the ground. When he looked up at me, I was shocked to see who it was. Apollo.
What are you doing here? You're following me?
Duh, I came here to see the meteorite.
We're late. The NASA guys already took it. It landed over there.
What a bummer.
There's possibly an alien here somewhere too.
Quite likely.
Are you making fun of me? Or do you think aliens are real too?
I might sound weird, but yes, I believe that we're not alone in this universe. There's life out there, but the government is just hiding the truth from us. For the first time ever, he smiled, and I felt that rush again. We started talking, and I was having a really good time. He offered me some food, and while we were eating, I suddenly burped out loud. Oops, sorry. He just laughed and said,
I'm sorry I was a jerk when we first met. I just thought it was cute that you mistook me as my brother, so I decided to tease you.
it's not a big deal. Soon, we both lay down on the grass and watched the sky above as we continued talking about aliens and other conspiracy theories. Suddenly, he turned to me, and there was that heart-pounding rush again.
I'm really glad that I'm not alone in believing in all this stuff. I thought I was the only one.
Me too. I was feeling lost in his eyes, and suddenly I snapped out of it. It's getting late. My mom's gonna kill me. He dropped me home, and when he was finally gone, I realized that I was still smiling. Maybe I was just happy to find someone who had similar interests. Yeah, that was it. Since then, Apollo and I became closer at school, and we never ran out of things to talk about. During our classes, we would secretly pass notes. What do you think really happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370?
Do you think Bigfoot is real?
Where did Amelia Earhart suddenly go?
Which really came first, the chicken or the egg?
And it turned out we both loved My Story Animated too. Apollo and I would always watch the newest episode on YouTube during recess. Austin eventually noticed our closeness, and he looked pissed.
Apollo is trying to steal you away from me.
What are you talking about? He's your brother. I should get along with him too, right?
Whatever. Remember, you're mine.
You're making it sound like you own me, and I don't like that. Suddenly, he kissed me gently on the cheek.
I didn't mean it like that, babe. I just
Like you a lot. And Apollo's always wanted everything I have. He might be getting close to you just to piss me off. Somehow, that didn't sound like Apollo to me, and I liked having him as my friend. One night, Apollo visited me at the restaurant and waited for my shift to end before taking me somewhere.
I want to show you something.
Sometime later, we arrived at a field near their mansion.
This is where I last saw Mom. And the next day, she was gone. I saw some marks of a spaceship right here. I was just 5 then, so I made myself believe that aliens took her away.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sure your mom is in a better place now.
I wish they'd taken me with her too.
Someone will be sad if they did, you know?
I don't think so.
You know what it means when I go missing one day.
What are you saying? And why are you saying this?
Just in case.
His words were sending me goosebumps. But before I could say anything more, he just changed the topic and said he'd drop me home. I just couldn't stop thinking about Apollo all the time. I was falling for him. With him, I could just be me. I had to talk to Austin and end things. It wasn't fair to lead him on. I pulled him into an empty classroom the next day. We need to talk about something.
Save that for later. I need you to join us for dinner tonight. My dad is really excited to meet you.
But
Please, don't make an excuse. I've had a really lovely dinner all planned out for us. Please?
I sighed and said yes. And the next thing I knew, he sent a team of stylists to my house to dress me up like the richest girl in town. Ugh. When I finally arrived at the restaurant, my jaw almost dropped upon seeing his dad and stepmom. They looked like royalty.
Mom, Dad, I would like you to meet Samantha, my girlfriend. You're even prettier than he described.
Welcome to the family, sweetheart. Welcome to the what now? As we started eating, someone came and sat next to me. I almost choked on my orange juice when I realized who it was. Apollo. Why was he here?
Sorry I'm late.
But no one seemed to care. Their dad continued talking about how perfect Austin was and how he trusted him to be the next CEO of his company. As Austin was trying to be extra sweet to me, Apollo suddenly held my hand from under the table.
Apollo, honey, you should also find a girlfriend as beautiful as Samantha. Unfortunately for him, no one can be as beautiful as my Sam. Then maybe you can break up and just let me be with her.
Excuse me? Before things could get out of hand, the waitress suddenly spilled the whole pitcher of juice, messing up Austin's shirt.
This is unacceptable. Dad, let's go to a better restaurant. Or we could go to another city. I can have the helicopter ready in minutes.
They were unbelievable. I excused myself to the restroom to calm myself down, and as I got out, I noticed the waitress crying at the back,
At the end of the
and
day,
Apollo was talking to her.
When you're all
Here,
alone in the
please,
dark,
take this as an
the only
apology
thing
for
that
my
counts
family's behavior.
He was giving her a huge tip, and I felt my heart melting. How was he so different from his family? When I went back, I told them that I needed to go home because I wasn't feeling well. As Austin was driving me home, I finally confronted him. I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore.
What? Are you breaking up with me?
I tried, but it's just not working.
Is this about this stupid waitress?
Watch your words. I'm a waitress too, in case you forgot.
This is about Apollo, right? You like him.
What are you talking about?
He's a hopeless case, Sam. There's no future with him. He's always depressed.
Do you even know why he's like that?
It's because of Mom. I lost her too, but I moved on eventually. He's just being dramatic. I'm here. I'm better than him by 100 times.
Not everyone is as insensitive as you are, Austin.
After everything I did for you, you choose that loser over me? I'm literally perfect, and you're just a dumb waitress.
I suddenly slapped him, hard, and then I stormed out of his car.
Jerk.
He ignored me after that, but I couldn't care less. What was bothering me was the fact that Apollo started avoiding me too, on purpose. Thanks to Garrett for keeping me sane, or else I would have already lost my mind. One day, our class had to do a team building exercise on the lakeside, and during one game, I was teamed up with both brothers of all people. We were on a raft, and we needed to collect 20 plastic balls from the water in 3 minutes. It was so awkward because both of them were pretending that I was invisible. While I was reaching for a ball, an unexpected wave suddenly hit us, and I fell into the water. I didn't know how to swim. I kicked around frantically, and just as I felt I was going to give up, I felt strong arms around my waist.
I got you. I got you.
It was Apollo, and he quickly swam to the shore with me. He was looking down at me with a really worried face. Just then, Austin came running and pushed him aside.
Sam, are you okay? I'll take you to the hospital.
No, I'm fine now.
I thought I was gonna lose you. I still love you, you know.
But I don't love you, Austin. I thought I was sending Apollo a really clear message, but he silently walked away. Had I been misreading all the signs? I was certain he liked me too, but he was just running away from me. When I went to school after the weekend, I noticed he wasn't in class. He didn't turn up the next day either, and I had no choice but to ask Austin about it.
He went back to the U.S. because he got bored here. Get over it.
Get over it? I couldn't believe that he'd leave just spirit were trying their best to distract me and cheer me up, but I would still think about him every night. I often visited our spot in the field, hoping he'd magically show up, but he never did. Months later, Austin came up to me one day and said he had to tell me something.
Apollo didn't leave because he was bored, Sam. He's been sick since he was a kid, and his disease got worse, and he needed to go back to the US for his treatment. Yeah, I was mad at you for breaking up with me, but I actually kept the truth from you because he didn't want you to know. He's completely fine now, and he came back a week ago. You should go see him.
I felt my eyes well up. Why are you being nice to me? I thought you hated me.
No, never. I can be a jerk sometimes, but I'm really not that bad. I want you to be happy, and my brother too.
I gave him a quick hug and then rushed to the field Apollo had taken me to. And I found him sitting in the same spot. It was really him. Apollo!
Sam,
I thought you were gone for good.
well, the aliens tried to take me, but I didn't go with them. I can't just leave someone behind.
I wonder who that is.
I'll give you a clue. She's a beautiful weirdo who has made my life so much brighter just by being in it.
Please don't ever leave me again.
I won't. I love you, Sam. I want to solve all of the mysteries of the universe with you forever.
I love you too. And yes, let's start with the sea monsters, please. He left before finally kissing me. Hi, my name is Barbara, but people call me Barbie because I look like one. Please like and subscribe before I continue. Dad was a billionaire who owned a multi-industry company. Growing up, my twin brother Ford and I were used to getting everything we wanted. But for him, it wasn't enough because he wanted everything for himself. On our 5th birthday, Dad gave me a Barbie doll while he gave Ford a toy car. But he wasn't happy. My car needs a driver, so give me that doll. Over my cute body! He got back at me by scratching Dad's new Lamborghini and blaming it on me. I was grounded for a month. He also loved to make fun of the brown birthmark on my face. Maybe that's why you stink, because there's permanent poop on your cheek. Stop saying I stink when I don't. Everyone may think it's true. Too late. I've already told everyone about it. I tried complaining to Dad, but he was always too busy to care. But one day in the 5th grade, I discovered a way to cover up my birthmark by using loads of makeup. I told Ford that I had it removed by a doctor, and he was so stupid he actually believed it. He was always a pain in the butt, until he started dating this gold digger Tiffany in high school. He got too busy to annoy me all the time. Thank God. In 10th grade, my boyfriend Zach and I decided to celebrate his birthday by going away to Greece for the weekend. We were about to take off in Dad's private jet when suddenly the pilot came out of the cockpit and said we had a problem. I looked out the window and saw Ford arriving with Tiffany. What are they doing here?
We're celebrating our anniversary in Hawaii, so all of you, get out.
Breaking news, dummy. I came here first.
I don't care. Get lost.
You get lost. I was about to push him, but I screamed when Tiffany suddenly pulled me by my hair. The boys tried to stop us as we fought, but we ended up landing in the cockpit and falling on the navigation controls, damaging them completely. As soon as the news reached Dad, he called us both for a meeting in his library. I thought he was gonna kill us, but what he said totally took us by surprise.
I'm thinking of leaving my company to someone capable. And obviously, that's me, Dad. This dumb brat spends thousands of dollars on clothes and makeup every single weekend.
Hello? You literally buy whatever your girlfriend pouts her lips for.
Enough. You're both too dumb and spoiled. I'll give you a month to prove yourself, or I'll leave the company and all my fortune to a stranger instead. Prove ourselves? In what way, Dad? Figure it out, and make me proud for once.
It was gonna be tough, but there was no way I'd let Ford win this. The next day, I visited Dad's company's headquarters to study the performance for the past year, and I found out that Dad had been planning to develop a new mall, but he was having a hard time getting approval for its location from the mayor's office. Wait a minute, what if I dated the mayor's son, Leo, so he helped me win his dad's approval? Leo was a senior you breathe? It's so heavy I could hear it from miles away. I've been suffering silently, but I just can't take it anymore. Just work on yourself and maybe we can give it another chance soon, yeah?
Are you freaking serious?
Goodbye, Zach, for now. He kept throwing tantrums all day, but I ignored him and started working on my current target, Leo. Aside from being a genius, he was also famous for being too serious. I'd never seen him smile. I stalked him and found out that he always stayed in the library. Boring! One day he was sitting alone and I walked up to him and pointed to the thick book beside him. Could you hand me over that physics book?
This is a chemistry book.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I got confused. Physics and chemistry are similar words.
No, they're not.
Oh, what's that you're reading? You're into literature too? I love Michael Jackson. Do you know about him?
Yeah, of course I do. But I like Shakespeare more.
Shakespeare? That's a cool name. Before he could say something, his friend suddenly called him. Just when I thought we were connecting. As Leo walked by, Zach suddenly appeared and pulled me into a corner.
Why are you flirting with this guy? I thought our breakup isn't official yet.
Don't take it personally. I just need him to help me get his father's approval for my dad's project.
And when you win that inheritance, you'll get back with me, right?
Sure, whatever.
I'll wait for you.
Don't hold your breath. A few days later, I heard that Leo was running as president for student council again. But what shocked me was Ford was running too. So that was his first move to prove himself and impress Dad, huh? And the next day at school, Ford challenged me to run against him. And why would I do that? So we can settle this better.
Obviously, it's me, but I badly want to see you cry.
Do you really think I'm that dumb? You never play fair. I told you, she's scared. Since you're begging for it, then fine. See you at the elections.
Nice. Any last words?
Send my regards to Satan. Oh wait, that's you. And with that, I stormed off. But if Leo was also running, I didn't have any chance to win. He had already won 3 times in the past. I immediately talked to him about this. I also want to run for school president, but with you on the list, I don't think I stand a chance.
So, you want me to back out?
Nah, leave it to me this time.
Why are you running?
Basically, I hate my brother and he's running and I want to beat him myself. But I need your support.
And what do I get in return?
You can date me, I guess. To my surprise, he smiled at me and said,
Sure.
Wait, are you serious? He just winked at me and walked away, leaving my heart fluttering with that smile. I was so confused. It was time to put our names down as candidates the next day, and I was surprised to see Leah was running as my vice president instead. What are you doing?
Supporting my girlfriend.
So he really was serious about it. I couldn't believe making him fall for me was this easy. I decided I'd wait a few days before I started talking about the mall project so it wouldn't look suspicious. We started hanging out together, and sure, he was serious, but he was also sweet and funny, not boring at all. He even introduced me to a super cool channel on YouTube called My Story Animated, and when I saw their videos, I actually found them exciting and relatable, especially about those billionaire girls. On the weekend, he asked me out on a date, and I said yes. While driving, someone suddenly called him and he turned to me.
I was supposed to lead Dad's charity drive at a hospital tomorrow, but they moved it to today, and they need me there. I'm so sorry.
Instead of sulking, I smiled and volunteered to come along. Seeing all those sick people who couldn't afford treatment made me realize how lucky I was. And the way Leo talked to these people made my heart melt. Later that night as he drove me home, he suddenly took my hand and kissed it.
You must be really tired.
I'm fine. Actually, I had a great time.
The date isn't over yet. I've got a surprise.
He took me to a closed restaurant and revealed that his mom owned it. So, how are we supposed to eat?
Watch me.
To my surprise, he started working in the kitchen himself and ended up with the most delicious meal ever.
I can't believe I'm with someone like you, a goddess.
Yeah, I know. Thousands of guys wish to be you, so you're very lucky. My heart went wild when he tucked a strand of hair behind my ear.
You're really funny. And
I stared back at him and just found myself leaning in closer for a kiss. I felt like I was on cloud 9. It was the least fancy date I'd ever been on, but it was the best time I'd ever had in my life. Soon, we made our relationship official, and Zach wasn't happy.
You broke up with me because of him, didn't you?
No, Zach, we just didn't work out. I'm sure you can find someone better.
You're gonna regret this.
Zach was too dumb to do something that could actually ruin me, so I just ignored him. When the election campaign started, Ford and Tiffany were spending Dad's money like crazy. They covered the whole school with pictures of their stupid faces and threw the biggest parties every single night. Ford also promised everyone he'd turn the whole school into a teenage paradise, making him win by a landslide. I lost so badly. He kept on bragging about his victory at dinner, and Dad looked impressed.
I think I'm gonna win this too. And when I take over everything, the first thing I'll do is make you miserable. Say goodbye to all your credit cards.
Don't be too confident. Maybe you'll be the one who ends up crying.
I really doubt that.
Ford made me so mad. I had no choice but to finally use Leo's connections for Dad's small project. I brought it up, and to my surprise, he immediately talked to his father about it. A few days later, I introduced him to Dad over dinner, and he looked stunned when he learned that Leo was the mayor's son.
You should have informed me earlier. I would have told the chefs to make something fancier. I'm fine with anything, sir. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
They seem to be getting along really well, and Dad then finally brought up the project.
Oh, Barbie mentioned it to me the other day, and I've already talked to my father about it. He's looking forward to meeting you.
Dad looked super happy, and once the project was finalized, he even threw a party to celebrate it.
You made this happen. Dear Barbie, you've shown me how valuable you can be.
Ford was smoky red with rage. I gave him a smirk as Dad made a toast for him. Later that night, I thought about a plan to give back to Leo. He'd told me about an orphanage he had set up, and I decided I'd donate books and laptops to the kids there. I talked to Dad about it, and he was happy to support me. The next day at school, I was waiting for Leo at the canteen to talk about it, when suddenly, Ford came and took my plate of spaghetti and rubbed it in my face.
I told you not to mess with me.
As I angrily rubbed it off my face with tissues, I suddenly realized people were staring at me in shock. Oh no, all of my makeup was gone. Oh look, there's poop on her face.
Breaking news, everyone. My sister's been hiding this gross birthmark under her makeup for years. Look, Leo, she's even deceived you, just so she could be your girlfriend.
I tried to hide it, but it was too late. Leo had arrived and was staring at me. I was about to run away when suddenly he grabbed Ford by the collar and pushed him up against the wall.
She's still the most beautiful girl in the world to me, but you sure are the biggest jerk.
I heard everyone actually agreeing with him, but Ford started laughing like a maniac.
Okay, the poop mark didn't change your mind, so how about this?
To my surprise, Zach showed up from behind him and started playing a recorder with an evil grin.
Why are you flirting with this guy? I thought our breakup isn't official yet.
Don't take it personally. I just need him to help me get his father's approval for my dad's project. Blood drained from my face as we all listened to the whole conversation. I couldn't believe my ex-boyfriend teamed up with my evil brother. I tearfully ran after a furious Leo. Leo, please, let me explain.
Explain what? That I was just part of your stupid plan? I can't believe I actually fell for a spoiled brat like you.
Yes, I planned it, but then I started to have real feelings for you.
Yeah, right. Please, don't ever talk to me again.
He ignored me completely after that, and I lost all my motivation. Ford took it as an opportunity to redeem himself. He spent tons of money on billboards across the city, advertising Dad's clothing stores with himself and Tiffany as models. The sales actually went up. A few days later, Dad informed us that he'd finally made a decision. I was sure Ford had won, but I didn't even care by now.
I decided to give everything to...
Ford had already gotten up with a proud smirk.
Barbara. Congratulations, darling. I'll see you in my office tomorrow for the signing of the papers.
Wait, what? Suddenly, Ford went psycho.
You can't do this to me, Dad. I've worked so hard for this. It's not too late to change your mind. I based my decision on how you spent my money the past month. You wasted $10 million and never did anything meaningful. Barbara proved her interest by learning about the company. And she even made a huge project happen. You're talking nonsense, you stupid old man.
And then I just snapped. I flung a glass of juice at his face. You can insult me all you want, but don't you dare talk like that to our dad, you jerk!
You're gonna pay for this.
Before he could hurt me, Dad called his bodyguards to take Ford away. He grounded him in his room, and I could hear him destroying things all day. He was scaring me. The next day, I fell asleep in my bathtub, and when I woke up, I realized that my phone was gone. I got up to find it, but the door was locked, as well as the windows. Just then, lots of bugs started to crawl in from somewhere. I screamed, but no one seemed to hear me. Help! Someone, please, open the freaking door! The bugs were getting nearer, and I passed out. Dad's worried face was the first thing I saw when I opened my eyes again. He was in the hospital.
My darling Barbie, thank God you're okay.
Dad, Ford tried to hurt me.
I know. Your brother's gone. I sent him away to a boarding school in Russia.
I was surprised and relieved at the same time.
Maybe I shouldn't have made you do it. It was a stupid decision, and it made Ford crazy. And you started dating someone you don't even like.
No, Dad, it's the complete opposite. I really like Leo. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. Suddenly, Leo showed up from behind Dad.
And you're the best thing that happened to me too.
Leo, what are you doing here?
I heard you were in the hospital, so I had to come see you. And your dad also talked to me about your plan with the orphanage. The kids would really love that.
Does this mean you've decided to forgive me? I'm so sorry, Leo.
Barbie, I understand the pressure your dad put you through, and I think it was a smart plan. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have even noticed me.
I've always noticed you. I just thought you were too serious for me.
Yeah, I'm indeed serious about you.
Okay. I think you deserve another chance to get to know me.
I love you.
I love you too. Looking into the sun is really painful to the eyes. But you know what's even more painful? Seeing cheerleaders posing and pouting in front of jocks. I just wanted to study in the gym, but I forgot there was an audition for the muse of this year's football game. Suddenly, I sneezed, and everyone turned to me.
Dude, there she is. Even the way she sneezed is so pretty. I think we found our muse. She's gonna be perfect for the team.
The biggest brat in the universe, Candace, had a violent reaction. Excuse me, are you guys blind? This peasant is not even a cheerleader. And look at her messy hair and cheap clothes.
But the point is, she's still the prettiest.
Candace looked at me with murder in her eyes, and it was my signal to run. She ran after me and pulled me by my shirt. You're just our stupid maid's daughter. Always remember that. I reached for her arm and twisted it away. At least I'm prettier than you. Always remember that. And I flipped my hair and ran again. I knew I was going to pay for saying that, but it was worth it. Hi, my name is Stellar, and I just wanted to have a peaceful life with my mom. But it's impossible if you live with billionaire brats from hell. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Mom had been working for a super rich lady, Mrs. Branson, since I was a kid. In return, she gave us a cottage next to the mansion and paid for my tuition at a private school. She might sound like a generous lady, but she actually did all of this because no maid could put up with her besides Mom. She was mean and rude, and I hated her to the core. She had twins my age, Candace and Julian, and they were as bad as their mom. Thankfully, Julian had left for boarding school 7 years ago, but I still had Candace to deal with. Candace had always been jealous of me because I was prettier and smarter than her. And because of what happened in the gym yesterday, she forced me to do all her homework. One night while I was studying, I heard loud voices outside. I wanted to check what it was and saw Mrs. Branson yelling at Mom in front of her guests. How dare you serve us with silver utensils? Where are the gold ones? Did you steal them? She made us feel poor for a second, Mom. It was traumatizing. As Mom was apologizing nonstop, Mrs. Branson just kept on humiliating her in front of everyone. I so wanted to punch her fake lips, but Mom gave me a look to behave. I didn't do anything then, But the next day, I sneaked into the kitchen and sprinkled the hottest chili powder in the world onto their soup. A few minutes later, I was grinning from the balcony as both witches ran around the mansion with burning tongues. I felt so pleased with myself, but Mom was furious. Mrs. Branson fired the cook because of what you did. I have no idea what you're talking about, Mom. I know it was you. How many times do I have to tell you to stay out of trouble? But those two are just horrible. You have to put up with them at least until you graduate high school. There are just a few months left. Please. Ugh, fine. But a few days later, Mom fell down the stairs and broke her ankle. She couldn't walk for some months, so I had to take her place, which only made Candace happier because she could boss me around even more. She made me do the stupidest tasks, like painting hearts on her nails and braiding her boyfriend's long hair. And when Mrs. Branson informed me that Julian was coming back, I just knew that things were about to get worse. After cleaning up his room, I felt so exhausted that I sat down on his couch to rest for 5 minutes. I dozed off. When I woke up, I saw a guy with the most beautiful green eyes staring right at me. Was I dreaming? He looked so majestic.
Hello, Buttface. Did you miss me?
Buttface. That's what Julian used to call me. Oh, you're here. Sorry, I got so tired that I fell asleep.
Seems like you were having a very interesting dream. Was it about me?
Yeah, I dreamed that I was punching your liver.
Still feisty as ever. Why are you in a maid's uniform? Where's your mom?
She had a small accident, so I'm replacing her, temporarily. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot to do. Later that night, as I was serving their dinner, I noticed Julian's eyes following me everywhere. He even purposefully brushed his hand against mine. What's up with this jerk? And why had he turned out so fine? One night, I saw Mrs. Branson throwing out one of her branded bags in the trash just because it had a small stain. After making sure that everyone was asleep, I sneaked out and took it. But when I told Mom, she got so scared. What if she finds out that you stole it? You know that woman. She'll make our lives hell. Technically, I didn't steal it because she'd already thrown it out. If the bag was alive, I'm sure it would prefer to be in the hands of a cute owner instead of rotting in the garbage, right? I will never win against you. Exactly. The next day at school, we were in the middle of an exam when suddenly the girls started squealing. We all turned to the door to see Julian peeking with a smile. What was he doing here? Suddenly, he waved at me and blew me a kiss. My tummy did a weird flip. As soon as he left, Candace elbowed me in the ribs. My brother's just fooling around, so stop dreaming. You're not his type. Oh, trust me, he's not my type either. It didn't matter even if he was. I had to stay away from him because being involved with Julian meant trouble. One day, while he was working out in the living room, he suddenly called for me.
Do you think my muscles look hard enough? Or should I work out more?
To be honest, they were a work of art, but there was no way I'd tell him that. I think you should get a life, sir. He just grinned at me and laid down on his back. He then asked me to hold down his feet and started doing crunches. I held my breath when I realized how close our lips were when he sat up. He was definitely doing this on purpose. Excuse me, but are you flirting with me?
Am I that obvious?
If you think you can add me to your list of girlfriends, you're mistaken.
You're really amusing. Too bad you lost those chubby cheeks. I can't call you Buttface anymore. Should I call you Sweetface now?
Wow, that is so cringy. What school did you go to? Wattpad High? He just chuckled and reached for my cheeks to pinch them.
You're so cute, especially when you blush.
It's a blush of hatred. Anyway, I still have a mountain of laundry to do, so bye. I left before things could get weirder. I did my best to avoid him at school, but he was always doing silly things to grab my attention. And one of my friends suddenly started pestering me. Hey girl, I saw that hottie from the other class flirting with you yesterday. Are you guys like a thing? Ew, yuck, no. I don't date players.
Okay, that's amazing.
Maybe I'll ask him out then. I suddenly found myself grabbing her by her hair. Don't even think about it. My friend was totally surprised by my behavior, and so was I. I realized that I was actually having a crush on Julian, but I would never admit it, ever. A week later, Mrs. Branson hosted a grand New Year's Eve party at the mansion, and I helped the kitchen staff serve the food. I couldn't help noticing Julian staring at me the whole evening. It made me feel excited for some reason. While I was washing the dishes, someone suddenly breathed down my neck.
Want to get out of here?
Your mom's gonna kill me.
So you're scared? Where's that fearless little girl who used to kick my butt?
And I was sold. We sneaked out and slipped into a sports car. Where are we going?
Wherever fate is taking us.
I was so confused when he brought me to a grass field. Why are we here exactly?
You'll have to wait for it.
As we sat on the car's hood and waited for whatever it was, we started talking. Why do you like racing so much? It's too dangerous.
Racing makes me feel like I'm flying, like I'm alive and free. How about you? Do you still want to become a nurse?
Of course. Remember when you stole my stethoscope when we were kids?
It was just so cute how you ran around and listened to random people's heartbeats and tummies.
Oh, look, there it is. Suddenly, the night sky was filled with the most spectacular fireworks.
I remember you wanted to see those New Year's fireworks so badly once when we were kids, but you missed it because Candace and I locked you up in a bathroom.
Yep, you both are horrible creatures.
I'm sorry about that. I was a dumb kid.
I felt butterflies as we watched the fireworks in silence. I closed my eyes and just enjoyed the colors behind my eyes. When I opened them again, I saw him staring at me. He was leaning in closer when suddenly my phone started to ring. It was Mrs. Branson. Your mom is calling. We need to go back. Can we make it in 10?
Try me.
He winked at me before stepping on the pedal, and the next thing I knew, I was screaming as he drove like a maniac. The party wasn't over yet when we got back home. As we sneaked in from the back, we suddenly saw Mrs. Branson walking towards us. Just then, Julian pushed me down to my knees.
Why can't you find it? Are you blind?
I immediately got what he meant, so I started crawling around pretending to find something.
Stellar, I've been looking for you. What are you doing here? I dropped my ring, Mom, and I'm asking her to look for it.
Mrs. Branson seemed to believe us. I was so relieved. But later that night, as I was clearing the mess, I almost fell back in fright to see her standing behind me.
Do you really think that I have no idea what you're up to?
I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am.
Stop with your acting, Stella. And don't forget your place in this house. You're a maid, just like your mom, and that's all you'll ever be. Stay away from my son.
I'd already expected this to happen, and I started avoiding Julian as much as possible. I couldn't afford to get us thrown out while Mom was unwell, but it was hard, especially when I found out Julian had fallen really sick. After making sure that Mom was asleep, I sneaked into the mansion and into his room one night. He seemed to be having a really high fever. He looked so vulnerable as he slept. I stayed by his side for hours, but just as I was about to leave, he suddenly pulled me down towards him and kissed me. I got lost for a few seconds, but then I quickly pulled away. That was a mistake. I shouldn't even be here.
It's not a mistake. I really like you, Stella. I hope you feel the same.
Stop liking me, Julian. We won't work out. I'm not the girl for you. I won't fit into your world, and your family will never approve of us.
Please stop thinking about other people. Just tell me how you feel.
I chose not to answer him and walked out, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. A few days later, Candace and her friends were having a pool party, and I went out to serve them drinks. I saw Julian was with them, and one of the girls was literally all over him. The sight made my blood boil. I slammed down the tray and turned to Julian. Excuse me, sir, but can you please come to the kitchen for a moment? I need to show you something. He looked confused and followed me.
What is it?
I grabbed a tray and tapped it on his head. Stars. Can you see them?
I can only see a jealous girl. But you're the one who told me we won't work, Stellar.
So that's it. Now you suddenly don't have feelings for me? You're just a player, Julian. One day you're kissing me, the next day you're flirting with some... Just then, he gently pushed me against the wall and kissed me. And this time, I kissed him back. I couldn't stay away from him anymore, and we began dating in secret. We started sneaking out at night and driving around, and we had the best nights of our lives. But then one day, he looked at me seriously and said,
I'm tired of seeing you secretly, Stella. I just want to let the world know that I'm dating an amazing girl like you.
But I'm just a maid, and I'm sure it will be a huge problem with your family.
I know it's not going to be easy, but I'll find it out. I just need you to trust me.
I won't trust you. A week later, Julian's dad came back from abroad, and Mrs. Since we're all gathered here tonight, I can't wait to share some amazing news. My son Julian and our business partner's daughter Casey are engaged. Cheers to the lovely couple. I stared at Julian in complete shock as he joined his mom with the girl who'd been flirting with him by the pool, and he looked so happy. How could he do this to me? Feeling dazed, I was leaving the room in tears when suddenly Candace stepped in front of me with a smirk. "Oh, I warned you. You're not his type. Not every Cinderella gets her Prince Charming." Just then, I turned red with rage. I was still holding a tray of appetizers, and I slammed it in Candace's face. Everyone gasped and stared at me, and I left as fast as I could. I ran back to our cottage and started packing our things. "We have to leave, Mom." "But why? What's happening, sweetie?" "I can't stay here. Not another minute. We'll be thrown out anyway, so we might as well go ourselves." I cried as I told her everything, and she started helping me pack. As the cab drove us away from that mansion, Mom took my hand. "We should have left years ago, but I was too weak. I just let us suffer without doing anything. What will happen to us now?" "No, Mom. You're so strong for putting up with everything for me. Don't worry. We're gonna get through this together." We had enough savings to rent a cheap apartment, and I also sold the branded bag I'd taken from the trash. It was actually worth a small fortune. With some money to go by, we both started looking for jobs. Mom fully recovered soon and started working as a hotel maid, while I worked as a waitress. I also applied for a scholarship to a nursing school, and luckily, I got in. I studied and worked hard for 5 years and was finally an intern at a huge hospital. One day, I found a bouquet of roses in my hospital locker, and I hated myself for wishing it was from Julian, but it wasn't. It was a patient I'd taken care of some time ago, Enrique. He admitted he liked me and asked me out. Enrique was charming and sweet, but I told him I was too busy for love. But boy, was he persistent. He kept showing up and asking me out in the funniest ways. And after months, I finally decided to give him a chance. One evening, as I was stepping out of my apartment to meet Enrique, I bumped straight into someone and apologized. When I looked up, I saw that it was Julian. What are you doing here?"
Are you going out on a date? You look lovelier than ever.
Are you freaking kidding me? You're not even ashamed to face me after what you did? And now you're flirting with me? Just wow. I wonder what your wife would have to say about that.
I didn't marry her. I didn't want to spend my life being miserable. I also cut ties with my family.
Do I look like I care? It's been 5 years, Julian. Please, just get lost. Before he could say another word, I walked away, shaking with rage. I wondered if he was telling the truth. But even so, he broke my heart in front of everyone, and I could never forgive him for that. Julian had somehow gotten a hold of my number, and he kept texting me to meet him once, but I kept ignoring him. One day at the hospital, we received a patient who'd been in a bad car accident, and when I looked at the patient chart, my heart leapt into my throat. It was Julian. I rushed to his room and took his hand as tears streamed down my cheeks. He suddenly opened his eyes and started talking. I tried to calm him down, but he wouldn't stop.
You have to listen to me, Stellar. Mom threatened to put your mom away in jail for stealing if I didn't break up with her. I knew she really meant it, so I agreed to do something that would make you hate me and try to farm. I was young and weak, and I thought I was doing the right thing. But now I've cut off my family and made something of myself. And there's no point to anything if I don't have you in my life.
Gosh, you wanted my attention? You have it. Just shut up and be strong for me right now, okay?
Only if you say you love me, because I do.
I'll see how I feel after a few days. So you better get well soon, moron. I bent down and kissed him on the lips, and his blood pressure shot up from excitement. Hi, I'm Tina from New Jersey. Please like and subscribe. I was born to a super rich mom who owned a giant cosmetic company. Dad left Mom when I was 2 because he couldn't cope with her overambitious nature. But to be honest, Mom wasn't so hard to live with, and that was because she was hardly around. Mostly, I saw Mom when she came back from an overseas trip with a gazillion toys for me. I guess that was her way of making up for the absence, but I wasn't complaining. I'd spend hours talking to my toys and pretending they were my best friends. But as I grew up, I started noticing how absent
Mom was for my life. She'd miss important events at school all the time. When I was in 5th grade, I was chosen to play Rapunzel in a school play thanks to my silky long hair. And Mom swore she wouldn't miss it. But by the time she reached school, the play was over. I'm sorry, honey. I got stuck with something important. I know, Mom. I can never be as important to you as your work.
Sweetheart, I'm doing this for you. One day, this company will be yours.
But I don't want to work for your stupid company. I want to become an actress. My drama teacher says I'm a natural.
I'll talk to your teacher about putting such silly ideas into your head. Acting is for losers who've got nothing better to do.
But Mom held up her hand, and I knew there was no use arguing anymore. But the acting bug in me never died. I joined the school's drama club and participated in all kinds of plays. Of course, Mom had no clue about it. Once when I was in the 10th grade, I was at the mall when I saw a girl staring at me weirdly. Then she followed me to the coffee shop too. I thought something was fishy, so I cornered her when I got the chance. What's your problem? If you want my autograph, just say so.
Why would I want your autograph?
Because I'm the future Drew Barrymore. You see these billboards? My face will be all over them in a few years. I don't want you to have any regrets later on.
I thought you're the girl my brother's dating, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, so this girl thought I was someone else. Suddenly, the acting bug in me started squirming. Actually, I am Jackie's girlfriend, but my brother's name is Fred. Of course, but I call him Jackie. You know, when we first met, it was raining and he offered me his jacket. Since then, I've called him Jackie. The girl totally rocked my life and even took me to lunch to know more about how her brother and I met. I had an awesome time talking about my imaginary boyfriend and how much we were in love with each other. The next day, I was in the school cafeteria with my best friend Daisy, and I saw this same girl walking towards me, looking crazy mad. I had no clue she was in my school.
You big fat liar.
I thought I'd seen you somewhere before, but that was in a play last month.
How dare you pretend to be my brother's girlfriend?
No need to get so worked up. You assumed I was her, and I just played along. By the way, don't you think my acting skills are next level? The girl stomped off angrily without taking my autograph. Yet again, Daisy looked at me with a confused expression, so I told her everything. Suddenly, she fell to my feet. How could I be so blind? The answer to all my problems has been right in front of me. Girl, what's gotten into you? I'm the one who's supposed to be melodramatic. Daisy told me she wanted to dump her boyfriend Zach since she'd fallen in love with her new neighbor. Since Zach went to another high school, we'd never met. But weren't you telling me last week how you were deeply, madly, and hopelessly in love with him? That was last week. It's been 168 hours since. You just have to make it look like he's been cheating on me so I can easily dump him. Okay, but what do I get in return? The opportunity to practice your acting skills? You just Jillian.
You know how to push the right button, girl, don't you?
Zach was supposed to take Daisy out on a date at a fancy restaurant that weekend. Moments after they were seated, they barged in with a massive curly wig and the ugliest glasses. The love of my life, the apple of my eye. You said you loved my thick curly hair. What are you doing with this witch with a forward ponytail?
Who are you? Just know each other?
Oh, don't be so cruel, my Kichiku. I know I put on 25 ounces, but I promised to put in the extra hours at the gym.
Stop it. Daisy, believe me, I've never met this girl before. She's lying.
If you want to dump me, just say so. I'm willing to die for you, my precious, but don't call me a liar. I know your favorite color is blue. You love dumplings. You still watch Popeye, and you fart when you sneeze. Am I lying, Daisy? Daisy simply shook her head.
That doesn't prove anything.
Actually, it does. I can't believe you've been cheating on me with this thing. I'm done with you. With that, Daisy marched off before Zach could make sense of what had just happened. I quietly snuck out too. The next day at school, Daisy and I couldn't stop laughing about the whole thing. Thankfully, Zach didn't try to contact her again, and she got busy dating her new neighbor. At home, things were going from bad to worse between Mom and me. She wanted me to focus on studies, but my heart was in theater. I wanted to join an acting school in New York, but she just wouldn't let me. One morning after a heated argument with Mom, I was rushing to my class when I bumped into something rock solid. What the rock? You got buttons for eyes? I looked up and saw Zach. What are you doing here?
I transferred to this school. It's getting hard to stay away from my girlfriend.
Let go, you moron. I am not your girlfriend.
But wasn't I your coochie-coo just a few days ago?
Listen, mister, I was just trying to help my friend get rid of you.
Actually, you did me a favor too. I knew Daisy was going around with another guy while we were dating.
What? And you still dated her? Are you a nutcase?
Well, I was about to confront her that day, but you made things easier. You put up a nice act, by the way.
He gave me a lopsided smile, and for some reason, it made my heart flutter. He knew it was me. That was actually pretty cute. And suddenly, he was touching my long, silky hair.
Your hair is gorgeous. It's a shame you hid it behind that ugly wig that day.
I mumbled an awkward thank you and literally ran to my class. The next few days, I had a feeling Zach was intentionally bumping into me. I saw him near the lockers, during lunch, at football practice, in the auditorium. Heck, he even agreed to play the role of a rock in a play I was participating in. One day, I was coming out of the library when I spotted him standing outside, whistling to himself. Are you stalking me?
I could say the same. You were the one falling all over me.
I eagerly walked towards him to give him a piece of my mind, but I slipped on something and landed straight into his arms.
Did you just fall for me? Again?
Before I could respond, he helped me get back on my feet and then gently pulled off the scrunchie I was wearing.
Your hair looks better this way. Free.
Then he simply turned around and left, leaving me stunned. Go buy a hole in his shirt if you keep staring like that. Whoa! You scared me, Daisy. You want Zach, don't you? What? Nonsense. He's not my type. I would have never dumped him if he looked at me the way he was looking at you. A few days later, we had to go to another school to perform our play, and I got my period on the bus. As I was getting off, Zach pulled me aside and wrapped his jacket around my waist. I rushed to the washroom and changed, and when I came outside, I found him waiting for me. He stayed close to me throughout the day, and I could feel his eyes on me every now and then. I was slowly falling for Zach, and when I told Daisy about it, she squealed with delight. I knew it! I know he feels the same about you. Why'd you ask him out? Mom has a party planned this weekend. So maybe next week? That weekend, Mom threw a grand party for her business associates. I hated being part of these boring parties, but I had to for Mom's sake. I was sulking in a corner when I heard a familiar voice.
Hey, this party just got 100 times better.
Zach, what are you doing here?
I'm here with my mom. What about you?
This is my house. My mom's the hostess. I spent the evening chatting with Zach, and we had an amazing time. Zach was smart and witty, and at one point, I was about to ask him out when I noticed Mom gesturing to me to meet her outside.
Tina, my sweet. You're looking gorgeous today.
Keep the drama, Mom. To the point. Okay, that boy you're talking to, his mom owns a supermarket chain, and they're one of the biggest potential buyers of our cosmetic products. If you date him, it'll be great for our business. I almost told her that I was going to, but then I had an idea. But I don't even like him.